Tracking all the latest details that are coming in from Bihar as election mode is on. RJD Supremo is now taking on the NDA over its manifesto. RJD Supremo Lalu Yadav has called NDA's manifesto, which is the Sankalp Path released by the NDA today, a sorry letter, saying that NDA is known to never fulfill its promises. Lalu Yadav in his post in the social media platform X says that those who do not even have the time to read their manifesto cannot possibly implement that manifesto. Their history and present have already proven this. So the public has now resolved to choose the promises of the Grand Alliance, which is the Mahagathbandhan, and bring a dynamic government to the people. Bihar has rejected the NDA's sorry letter. A sharp reaction coming in from the Mahagathbandhan after Lalu Prasad Yadav taking a dig of sorry letter at the NDA. My colleague Raman Rai is also joining me over the phone line with more details. Raman, do take us through the big promises that have been made by the NDA and now how the Mahagathbandhan is tackling it.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that today morning the NDA has released their manifesto, but in that whole conference you see that every big leaders like Nitish Kumar, JP Nadda and all the allied partners had skipped from there, and only Samrat Chaudhary addressed the media and he launched the NDA manifesto, and Lalu Yadav now attacks on the NDA and compared the NDA's Sankalp Patra to the NDA's sorry letter. So this is Lalu Yadav hitting out on the NDA over not the big leaders like Nitish Kumar is present in the whole press conference. So that's why Lalu Yadav attacks on them and said that there is no chance of proving that the present already have been this resolved to choose to promise the Grand Alliance. So this is the basic Lalu Yadav attacks on the NDA partnership, which is not seen in that whole press conference today.
Absolutely. Raman, thank you so much for joining us. Let's also tell our viewers about what exactly happened in the day. With just days to go for Bihar poll battle, November 6th is when the first phase of voting will take place in Bihar. All knives are out in the battleground. The NDA is gunning for the Mahagathbandhan. The Mahagathbandhan is gunning for the NDA. The NDA today in a joint press conference released its manifesto for the upcoming Bihar Assembly elections, focusing big promises have been made. 1 crore jobs for the youth in Bihar, financial support to women and farmers, permanent housing, free ration, electricity and healthcare. These are the big issues where you see a lot of freebies going in. The Bihar elections is nothing better than that. But the Mahagathbandhan has called this a false promise by the NDA, also questioning the timing of the press conference. Remember, the Mahagathbandhan held a full briefing after they released their Tejashwi Pran Patra, but while the NDA was releasing its Sankalp Patra, it only lasted for 30 seconds, with CM Nitish Kumar not making any single statement. Sample the political slugfest.
सबसे पहले है हर युवा को नौकरी और रोजगार देना। 1 करोड़ से अधिक सरकारी नौकरी, रोजगार प्रदान करना, कौशल विकास करना और हर जिले में मेगा स्किल सेंटर से बिहार को ग्लोबल स्किलिंग सेंटर के माध्यम से के रूप में स्थापित करना।
किसानों को कैसे उनकी फसल का उचित लाभ मिले, इस पर विशेष ध्यान दिया गया है। जो उत्पाद करते हैं किसान, उत्पादन जिन चीज़ों का, उनका पैकेजिंग कैसे हो, प्रोसेसिंग कैसे हो, हर तरह से, ताकि उनको अधिक से अधिक मूल्य मिल पाए। नौजवानों को कैसे रोजगार मिले, इसके लिए कई जगह इंडस्ट्रियल जोन बनाने की बात हुई है। तो नौजवानों के रोजगार पर भी ध्यान है। महिलाओं का कैसे और सशक्तिकरण हो, इसके लिए भी इसमें बहुत सारी बातें कही गई है। कुल मिलाजुलाकर समाज के सभी वर्ग के लोगों के लिए इसमें हम सब लोगों ने संकल्प व्यक्त किया है, आगे हम पूरा करेंगे।
ये संकल्प पत्र अगले 5 साल का हमारा वो वादा है जो हम लोग बिहार को विकसित राज्य बनाने की दृष्टि के साथ लेकर चलना चाहते हैं, जिसमें समाज के हर वर्ग का जात पात धर्म मजहब से उठकर, जब हम लोग नौकरियों का जिक्र कर रहे हैं तो किसी पर्टिकुलर समुदाय या जाति को मिलेगी नहीं, 1 करोड़ नौकरियों का हम जिक्र कर रहे हैं। कैसे दी जगह भैया आप नौकरी, तो हर जिले में हम लोग उद्योग लगाएंगे, ये सोच है। तो हम लोगों ने पूरे रोड मैप के साथ इस विजन डॉक्यूमेंट को हम लोगों ने तैयार किया। लंबे समय से मैं खुद बिहारी फर्स्ट पे मैं काम कर रहा था, जहां उसकी भी झलक इसमें हम लोगों ने डाली है।
26 सेकंड के लिए आए थे नेता लोग, चले गए। फिर डिप्टी सीएम जो बीजेपी के हैं उन्होंने मैनिफेस्टो की फॉर्मेलिटी करी। इनका मैनिफेस्टो का मतलब है कि आप जो लिखा हुआ है इसके अंदर वादे करते हैं पब्लिक के साथ में हम निभाएंगे। अब आप बताइए, उसको इन्होंने बिना कमिटमेंट के इन्होंने जारी कर दिया। ये परंपरा होती है जो चुनाव पहले की, खाली परंपरा निभाने के लिए निभाई गई है। इनका इन वादों से कोई कमिटमेंट नहीं है। इतना बड़ा धोखा जनता को देना चाहते हैं ये लोग।
एनडीए को तो अपना रिपोर्ट कार्ड जारी करना चाहिए। मैनिफेस्टो जारी करने का क्या मतलब है? आपको अपना रिपोर्ट कार्ड जारी करना चाहिए, ये बताना चाहिए कि आपने 20 वर्ष में क्या किया और क्या नहीं किया। 20 वर्ष पहले जब आपकी सरकार बनी थी तब भी देश का सबसे गरीब और पिछड़ा राज्य बिहार था और आज भी देश का सबसे गरीब और पिछड़ा राज्य बिहार है। एनडीए को ये बताना चाहिए कि बिहार में पलायन क्यों नहीं रुका, बिहार में रोजगार अभी तक क्यों नहीं आया, फैक्ट्रियां क्यों नहीं लगी।
हम लोगों ने देखा कि मैनिफेस्टो जो है जारी जैसे किया गया वैसे ही ख़त्म भी हो गई। यानी 30 सेकंड के अंदर जो है इनकी घोषणा पत्र का जो कार्यक्रम था वो ख़त्म हो गया है। आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री जी को तो पता ही नहीं होगा कि उस घोषणा पत्र में क्या है। शायद उनको बोलने ना दिया जाए, इसलिए जो है जल्द से जल्द जो है ये ख़त्म कर लिया गया।
Now the political temperature is rising as we go closer to Bihar elections. Voting day and result, remember, is on November 14. While Congress leader Rahul Gandhi has now taken another attack and up the notch this time on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, claiming, and I am quoting Rahul Gandhi, that Prime Minister lacks the courage to confront United States President Donald Trump over the United States of America, asserting that it opposed the India-Pakistan conflict. He also said Indira Gandhi was an example of a courageous leader. Earlier, Rahul Gandhi had called Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Chhath Puja event a drama and claimed PM would even dance for votes. But hitting back sharply, Union Home Minister Amit Shah claimed that Rahul Gandhi has no idea of Indian history and said he is from Italy. That's why he lacks the basic knowledge of Indian culture. The Home Minister has slammed Rahul Gandhi's statement and stating that insulting Chhati Maiya is an attempt to insult the Bihar culture. Sample the reactions coming in.
इंदिरा गांधी जी महिला थी, मगर इस मर्द से ज्यादा दम उस महिला में थी। नरेंद्र मोदी जी डरपोक हैं, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं। ना उनका विजन है, ना वो अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति के सामने खड़े हो सकते हैं। ये सच्चाई है। और मैं चैलेंज देता हूं कि नरेंद्र मोदी में अगर दम है तो बिहार में मीटिंग कर रहे हैं, किसी भी मीटिंग में कह दें कि अमेरिका का राष्ट्रपति झूठ बोल रहा है, मैं इसके सामने नहीं झुका, मैंने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर नहीं रुकवाया।
राहुल बाबा आए। अबे राहुल बाबा, उनको इस देश की परंपरा का कोई ज्ञान नहीं। भाई कहां से होगा? उनका नैनीहाल इटली जो ठहरा, उनको मालूम नहीं है। मोदी जी का अपमान करते करते उन्होंने छठ मैया का अपमान करने का जघन्य अपराध किया। मोदी जी का आप अपमान करो तब तक तो ठीक है, मगर राहुल भैया आपने छठ मैया का अपमान किया है। बिहार की जनता अपना पर्चा चुनाव में जरूर दिखाएगी, चुनाव में जरूर।
Shifting our focus to Tamil Nadu, where AIADMK General Secretary EPS has expelled Sengotian after the leader's repeated calls for unity within AIADMK, as well as his recent decision to partner with other ousted leaders such as TTV Dinakaran. This is after he had been recently stripped of all party responsibilities. Suspended AIADMK leader Sasikala has called the decision childish, saying that such decisions only serve to strengthen the DMK, which is the rival party. Sasikala further stated that such decisions will only alienate the cadre, and if EPS refuses to change, then the cadre will force him to change. Further going on to say that AIADMK cadre wants the party workers to unite. Meanwhile, EPS has stated that he will not tolerate any betrayal within the AIADMK as the party is strong with or without rebel leaders, slamming these leaders for acting like the B team of the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu and saying that if needed, he would take further action on any rebel leader as well. Shifting our focus to more news coming in, Congress leader and former Indian cricket captain Mohammad Azharuddin took oath as a minister in the Telangana cabinet. Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, Deputy Chief Minister Malubhati Vikramarka and other ministers attended the swearing-in. The 62-year-old has been inducted into the cabinet ahead of the November 11 by-election to the Jubilee Hills Assembly constituency. With Azharuddin's swearing-in, he becomes the first Muslim minister in Revanth Reddy's cabinet that will appeal to the voters in the upcoming by-polls. However, there's been a political uproar over his appointment, with BRS taking credit for the appointment and BJP slamming Congress for engaging in minority politics or appeasement politics. Azharuddin, meanwhile, spoke exclusively to NDTV after being appointed as a minister in the Telangana cabinet. Listen in.
Many congratulations. First of all, after 2 years, the Congress has appointed you as a minister now in the cabinet. What is your wish list? What is the portfolio that you would like?
No, I think this portfolio thing is actually it depends on the CM, because CM will take a call whatever the CM gives, and I think I'm ready to work for it, and I'm ever so thankful to the Chief Minister Mr. Revanth Reddy Saab, and he's always been my very big supporter, and I always have gone to him if there is any issues. But I'm so happy that he gave me this opportunity, and also thank the whole High Command, Kharge ji, Rahul ji, Sonia ji, K.C. Venugopal ji, and especially big thanks to Meenakshi ji, Vishwanath sir, who is our in charge, and then Mahesh Gaud saab, and these are all the cabinet people who really recommended my name for the MLC. I'm ever so thankful. I'm really looking forward to this new opportunity, because I made my cricketing debut on the 31st of December. So I think today is also 31st of October. So I'm looking forward to, I hope it's a very good thing, because my debut was good at that time. Inshallah, I'm hoping that this debut today also will be very good. Inshallah, I'm looking forward to working for the downtrodden and upliftment of the poor people in the state. And
not without controversy, the BJP said this is violation of model code, because hardly 10 days before a by-poll, which you incidentally contested also, you are being made a minister just to appease a minority community.
No, I think there's nothing like that, because I think the problem here is, because they've already complained to the election commission or whatever it may be. But I think I'm not really interested in what is happening. That is their lookout, and my lookout is as simple as that. I've been given a responsibility, and how I take care of the responsibility and how I deliver is the most important thing I can think of now. I will tell you maybe during the course of the time, I will maybe able to tell you more.
Would you have liked to contest the Jubilee Hills Assembly constituency?
No, as of now, I've got the MLC now, so I have no complaints.
So the Congress has inducted its latest minister into the Telangana cabinet. I have with me the Telangana Congress chief, Mr. Mahesh Gaud. Criticism that you have inducted a minister even when there is a by-poll that's going to happen, and that it is an attempt to influence the Muslim voters in that country.
Wrong, see, for the last 4 or 5 months, it's on cards. So other than getting into cabinet is on cards for the last 4 or 5 months. And in the past in Rajasthan, they have inducted a person who was fighting the by-election. The man who was fighting the by-election was inducted to cabinet, later he lost. Here, Azharuddin's case is different. It is a long time pending case. We have inducted now. He is a main person in making cricket worldwide famous. He was the longest serving captain of Indian team, and under his presidency we won many matches and international fame, and is a symbol of minorities. So this definitely would help the minorities not only in Telangana, throughout the country.
You have nominated him as an MLC. He's obviously a very accomplished cricketer, but it is Mr. K.C. Venugopal who has put out that letter. Will that qualify as under the category of having a personality?
No, I don't think any problem in that. He is a sports personality. So under governor's quota, his nomination will be valid.
There may not be any legal embargo, but morally it is not right for the government to induct a Muslim minister because they want Muslim votes in Jubilee Hills. This is a height of appeasement by the Congress government, and otherwise at any point of time they could have given him a ministry. They did not do it till now. No minority minister is there. Now what is the fun of making minority minister now? So therefore it's a purely appeasement politics. Congress is sure to lose Jubilee Hills and BJP is like 100% it is going to win.
We'll track more details coming in as we go on, but for now we're slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. Shifting our focus towards making headline in the international news, and US President Donald Trump's social media post calling to start testing nuclear weapons so that the United States does not fall behind Russia and China. This has sent shockwaves across Washington's corridors of power, from affecting confirmation hearing to alarming lawmakers about where in the US such tests might be conducted. Now, Donald Trump's message asking the military to begin nuclear testing triggered widespread confusion. Trump wrote that he had instructed the Department of War to start testing nuclear weapons on an equal basis with China and Russia. A lot of questions on what type of nuclear testing Donald Trump was intending to start and how harmful or what will be the side effects of it for the people living in America. Let's also listen in to our report.
These defining images of nuclear testing are of Operation Julian. On September 23, 1992, the United States conducted its last nuclear test, codenamed Divider, at an underground facility in Nevada. The world will soon see a repeat of nuclear tests by the United States. US President Donald Trump made his intentions more than clear.
But we have more than anybody. But I see them testing. I say, well, if they're going to test, I guess we have to test. I'd like to see a denuclearization because we have so many, and Russia has so. Russia's second and China's third.
Defense analysts say a move like this would mark a dramatic policy shift.
Experts warn that if America restarts its test, it could see China and Russia follow suit. Now, that's not to say that there hasn't been some push by Moscow over nuclear weapons. They have been threatening nuclear weapons use as their war in Ukraine has dragged on, and Moscow also has tested a nuclear-powered cruise missile in recent days as well.
Within hours, Russia issued a stark warning. Moscow would respond in kind if the US crosses this red line.
Президента Путина, который неоднократно повторялось, что, конечно же, если кто-то отойдет от моратория, то Россия будет действовать соответственно.
The renewed talk of nuclear testing harks back to the anxieties of the Cold War, when superpowers conducted hundreds of tests and the world anxiously watched every move. As world powers ramp up rhetoric and ready responses, the chilling memories of the nuclear standoff seem closer than ever. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Now, tracking more news that are coming in a major step to strengthen bilateral defense cooperation, the United States and India have signed a new 10-year defense framework agreement. Remember, this deal is so important for India as there was a flip-flop from the US President Donald Trump amid trade and tariff with India. Now remember, the flip-flop situation also turned into a verbal political argument, with Donald Trump sometimes calling India responsible for the tariffs, but on the other hand calling Prime Minister Narendra Modi his very good friend. This whole flip-flop decision and situation boiled down to this key trade deal that will be signed between India and US. But for now, this defense framework that India and US have signed also highlight the improvement in the relations between India and US, as the tariff tiff did make a dent in the relations between the two countries. Now, announcing this 10-year defense framework, the US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and the partnership between the two nations has never been stronger. This is what the statement from the United States came in that the relationship between the two countries, that all is well between India and US, despite those tariff tantrums of Donald Trump. This is the first time that two leaders met face to face and announced a framework that will reshape the security architecture of the region and send a strong message to India's rivals and also those allies of India who think that they will dent India's relation with the key ally, which is the United States. Time has again proven that United States rely heavily on India. The announcement came on the sidelines of the ASEAN Defence Ministers meeting, plus in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, where this time the Prime Minister skipped this event but appeared virtually. Now this is significant because this is all it can do, long-term access to advanced defence technology for India as well as US. Take a look at our report. We will give you that report in a short while, but tracking more news that is coming in, this is regarding the Buckingham Palace and what's happening inside it. Well, Prince Andrew has been stripped off of its royal duty, the royal title of prince, as his links with the Epstein files has brought royal shame to the King Charles and others. Now Prince Andrew has been stripped off of his title. He has been asked to leave the Windsor mansion and has been asked to shift into a private accommodation. Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as he has been stripped of that prince title. This 65-year-old king's younger brother has continued to face more questions about his private life in recent months. His links to Jeffrey Epstein have caused problems for the royal family. The prince, who relinquished his titles earlier this month, also always strongly denied any wrongdoing, any links to the files. But there have been several allegations against Prince Andrew, and now time will only tell what the probe come out in this case.
I am pretty astonished, I have to say. This is the strongest action against a member of the royal family that I know of. And I think that the king is acting very much here in harmony with public opinion, media opinion, and parliamentary opinion. I think when we have those three forces lined up together, and I've never seen as much criticism of a member of the royal family as we've had of Andrew.
And on that note, we're slipping into a very short break. Don't go anywhere as more news and updates continue on NDTV.